What is up, everybody? Today we have got another episode of Teklo's Workshop. Today we have two guests. We have Xincheng, finished 25th at the Pro Tour in Singapore, and CYKLionel, who finished 12th at the Calling. How about you introduce yourself? Give us a little background. What got you into Flesh and Blood? How long you been playing for? Xincheng, you go first.
Okay. I started playing Fab, I think it's like a month after Everfest or something like that. Yeah, before that I was a Magic player, playing like semi-competitively around our local area. And because right before our what's it called? Our weekly tournament, there is the Flesh and Blood Armory. So I always arrive early at the local game store and just watch them play. I remember I have go to the tutorial before, but I just didn't play that much. And then at some day I'm just say, yeah, I might also just try it. And then my first hero is Dash, so that's why I'm here right now. Yeah.
Nice. And what about you, CYK?
Well, I started back during Monarch pre-release. It was a while back ago. Like the first time when I played Fab was because, well, my friend was asking me like, "You want to try this game?" I'm like, sure, okay, why not?" And I went in, I opened my packs, and I played Prism. I was like, "Man, this game is so different. It's like so like complicated in every aspect of it." So I feel like, okay, why not just join Fab? So I started out with Runeblade first, and then after that I got into Ninja, but went back to Runeblade because of Chain, and then I started from there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen like you on stream before, CYK, and you kind of seem like you're playing like a lot of different decks. Would you say that you're like not really a specialist in any way? You're just kind of like trying to attack the meta in the best way?
Well, beginning I was a Runeblade player. I only play Runeblades, but
Oh,
there
okay.
was one event which was Taiwan Nationals. My first national, I think it was the second nationals. It was 2022. Yeah. So I bought Viscera, which I recently just top four with a calling with it, and then after that, uh, I was only like one win into top 8 internationals, and like I lost 3 rounds in a row. I feel like I should have just bought Bri or the best deck in the format. So ever since then, I've been trying to bring the best deck in a format,
And what about
or maybe
you?
the deck to counter.
Oh, yeah, true. What about you,
Yeah, yeah,
Shin?
yeah.
Are you mostly like you said you started off with Dash? Are you just like a mechanologist guy at heart? Do you just like only play
Yeah, I
Dash?
would say that. It's more of like I always sometimes go with vibes, I would say, but most of mine is Mac because I started with Dash IE, so that's what I played. Funny enough, like the first big event, it was in Calling Taichung in Taiwan. The first Calling, that was my first big event right before ProQuest and stuff like that. That's my first event. And I bring Dash IE way back when there was the Prism, Viscera, Starvo triangle meta, and then there's this random guy bringing a Dash IE and thinking like full aggro boost is a good idea for some reason. And then randomly I'm a new player, like playing around like a month at a time, and I got selected on the feature table for some reason, and I won on the feature table, and then from that time, in the locals, I'm now known as that guy playing Mac for some reason that time, and I kind of like take that take that title, so I mostly play Dash most of the time. I still play other decks like for fun or trying to understand like what other decks trying to do and stuff like that. But yeah, it's mostly mech. I will say in the past year I didn't play that much Dio, but yeah, still at the very end of my every bottom of my heart, I'm still a mech player. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
So both of you have been playing for like a really long time now. Would you say is this like your first pro tour? Like how many level 4 events have y'all participated in before?
Okay, I'll start from here. I have been to all of the world,
Oh,
but
dang.
only two
Okay.
pro tours. Only two pro tours. Pro Tour Singapore and Pro Tour Amsterdam last year at Amsterdam, and I did not do well at these events. I mean, Pro Tour Singapore is my best finish so far, and the second best finish was at Amsterdam, also Pro Tour. For some reason, I can do rather well at Pro Tours, not at any other. I never day to any callings, never day to any Pro Tour, any Worlds for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, like as for like big events, I do participate a lot of them, but just no big finishes so far. I would say, yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I went to all three worlds, San Jose, Barcelona, and Osaka. And I went to three Pro Tours. The first one was PTLA, which I bought Dash IE. And then Amsterdam, I brought Zen, and the recent one is Dash IO. But for Tier 4 events, I think I don't know why. Like maybe because I'm bad at draft or something. So I feel like every time like I can like day two, I'm lucky. I feel like I'm lucky because of that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the draft is the ultimate mechanologist
Yeah.
stopper. Just we're like the wizards, are we? Shit.
Yeah.
We just can't draft. No. But so that's interesting. So like this Pro Tour specifically, what do like CYK like why exactly did you think Dash IO was a good pick? Cuz like you said earlier, you played Rune Blades before. I mean, there's a Rune Blade out there, Florian, who was potentially good, but kind of was like going off of the meta a little bit towards the end there, but we did have a good finish from one at the end. So what exactly like did you think Dash.io brought to the table that made her a good pick for this Pro Tour?
Well, I was playing Verdance for Nats, which is Taiwan Nats was the week one after US Nats, and after the calling before like new LL, I was playing new. So I was basically locked with new for Nats, but suddenly new LL, so I have to play Verdance. And I was thinking like, man, I don't want to play Verdance in the Pro Tour because I know that Gravy is a good deck. It's just that during that specific time period, like I don't think I have enough like reps to play Gravy and enough to understand what's Gravy doing. But it was just like randomly one day, I was like clicking through all the heroes and building a specific deck and play against a Gravy. And I was like, wait, why Dash I was so good into Gravy? And then after I put a few more reps, I was like, oh, this deck is good into Gravy. So I just like went all in. At that time, I know Slippy exists, and I played Slippy for a while because it was one of the decks I was like choosing. But I felt like Slippy isn't like for the Gravy matchup isn't that like good for Slippy. It's just okay. So that's why I pivoted to Dash because I felt like at that time it was during week two. Like there wasn't a lot of Slippies. Like Slippy came out like around week three, week four, which is like the most played deck during that time.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was finding too. At the very beginning, there was a lot of verdances, and then like Slippy started like once Great became like known, it was like okay, Verdance is going down. People were like, best aggro deck is obviously Slippy, and I was like, I mean, I don't know if I completely agree with that one, but you know, apparently a lot of people at the Pro Tour did. What about you, Shane? What exactly made you want to break Dash IO besides just being a mech guy in general?
Yeah, actually, I have several candidates for bringing to Pro Tour. Starting from preparing for Nats. At at first, oh, it was quite a long story. So, at first, I have some candidates like Slippy, Mario, and Verdance back in my list, and originally Dio wasn't even in my candidate list there. And uh, so after US Nets, what I predicted is that there will be a lot less of Florians because we just saw that Majin Bay won US Nets with Verdance, and the Verdance is basically a nature killer to. I would say that in the meta share is like there can be only one Earth hero, kind of like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, if there's Verdance, there couldn't be uh enough space for Florian, kind of like that. So also in Tarnets, I played Verdance. I didn't do well, but after that, I was originally still trying to plan to go for Verdance for Singapore because I just found that Mario. I'm trying kind of like a semi. How do I put it? A semi Degro approach, kind of like Telltale's list, but it's not that dagger focused, I still put a little bit more attack action cards in, and I find some consistency issue with it. So I still more leaning towards Verdance and trying to tech through how do I fight against Gravy, how do I fight against Slippy, which is and how do I fight against Syndra, which is what I expect to be the meta for Proto Singapore. And then one day I was just trying maybe I should try to practice against how do I play as Verdance against Dio. And that's when I bring, because I have both decks, so I bring the decks to my local game store and ask one of my friends, like, hey, can you help me test with this? And then it was at that point, for some reason, we did some games and we switch decks and then we start playing against each other because originally from my thoughts, it's like Dio is really easily fatigable by Earth Heroes. Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, I'll just try this fact deck approach, and I build this deck and trying to do it, and then I just found it, Verdus is not that hard to beat. I leak damage fairly easily. And that's not what I thought. And then I think about it, I was just like, so the Earth hero with the quotation mark should be actually Florian is hard to beat. And then I don't expect there will be a lot of Florians in the Pro Tour because if anyone is well prepared, they know they have to deal with Gravy, and Florian is not the best choice to deal with Gravy, and which is a match you should not give up on in the Pro Tour meta. So I just predict, okay, there must not be a lot of Gravies and there must not be a lot of Guardians because that is what Gravy could be easily feast on. So maybe if I could figure, and then I just say, okay, maybe if I could figure out this Gravy matchup against Dio, I can have a fairly good shot. And then I tried building a deck, trying testing online on Talishar, play some games against Gravy, and I found that this is way easier to handle than previous board state heroes like Enigma or Dromine. This is much more easier to handle, and it is actually a favorite matchup because previously when I play Mac, I found always these like Dromine and Enigma is pretty annoying to play against because you're burning through your deck to trying to control their board, and which leads you to fatigue and stuff like that. This is rather manageable in Gravy and Bones matchup. So I said, okay. And I fully decided to play Dio like 2 weeks before Proto Singapore, and then just started to fine tuning, and here we are. Yeah.
Nice. So you picked up the deck pretty fast then, because a lot of like complaints about Dio is like, oh, she's so hard to play. Because like if you look at the actual day two conversion rates, I mean, you had somebody had like 64, but they only had like four decks playing or something, or they had a very few amount of decks playing. And then Gravy had 51% with a very large meta share, and then Dio had 50% right behind him, and she was the fifth most played deck. But everyone's like, "Oh, Dio's not that good. She can't be the best aggro deck. She's too hard to play. You know, I don't want to bring her, whatever." But like you just said, you only picked her up 2 weeks before. What sort of practice did you go into to be able to pick up that deck so quickly, even though it's supposed to be so complicated?
I will say past experience as a Mac player definitely helps. This is not my first time piloting Dio. I would say back when Bright Lights comes out, I there was a calling Taipei there, and I right after release weekend, I just brought Dio to a calling, and so this was my first time playing Dio, and then after Barcelona, I give it some shots. And also at Worlds Osaka, I also played Dio because there was the good times of High Octane was still there, and there was the Cerebellum, yeah, the good old times. And then, so I would say the past experience definitely helps because do I boost here? Do I play the item here? Do I activate heart here? These kind of decision points. It's kind of like already like inscribed into your brains because you already played it, so I don't have to get used to it again. So some macros are already built in my mind, so I don't have to relearn all of these heuristics. What I need for this rather short preparation type of time is try to understand what is the current meta look like and what cards should I put in my AD list to tech against this meta, rather than learning the deck as a whole from the start. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely some past experience helped you out over
Yeah.
there. But moving more into like exactly what the meta was, CYK, why exactly did you choose the 80 cards that you chose to play? Because the Dio lists they still look similar, like with the amount of like boost cards and like playing Max V and everything, or at least the three of us are still playing Max V. And like, but some other cards just started coming along. Like Outpaces kind of fell out because not as many, blocking Guardian equipment and like a lot of stuff like that. Maybe people started playing stuff like Steal It or like what TikTok clock stuff like that, random like helpful items like that, and also Expedite was a huge one that came in since Gravy became popular. So, what exactly did you expect the meta to look like? Was it that at the Pro Tour, and why did that influence the 80 cards that you brought?
Well, unlike Xincheng, so basically I never played Dio before.
Oh,
So like yes, I never played Dio before. This is my first time playing Dio. So like it was around week 3 Nats. I was like keep on pressing Talajar every day, minimum 10 games per day. So I was like finding the correct cards because I was like looking through like because it was during Nat season. I saw Ian Zhang, Jap's list, and also I even like messaged Alan Lau for the cards, like what he would put in and what would he take out, specific stuff like that. So I found that like, well, there's like two different lists. Like this one is like the Samsung one, I think, and the Jap's list, which they have like prismatic lens and stuff like that. I felt like that list is more of like for combo player, and I don't think I have enough time reps for it. And I feel like it's not like the most stable one. So that's why I went in with my 80, which is at the beginning there was equipment it's called I think heavy industry gear shift, right?
mm-hmm.
Like it was in my list beginning, so I was testing a lot, and I found that like yeah, it's good. It blocks one against assassin, and like sometimes you need to like one action point to draw a card from the Cerebrum processor. It was good, but the more I play, I found like man, like that meal too, like sometimes cost me the game, and I felt like why don't I just put it to defensive? So I played the Ian Zhang equipment suite, which is you have the arm piece which creates cog, and you also have adaptive plating. I feel like the block 5 like affects a lot in your like aggro matchups. Makes it more easier to block since sometimes you have like items in your hand. And like against Gravy, my equipment suit is Crown Providence, Foundry Heart, the one that created the cog, and also adaptive plating. So at that time, I knew that after I saw Michael Fong and Michael Hamilton's the finals were in the Battle Harden, right? It was one of the videos I saw online. When I saw that list, I feel like it's not like the Gravy that I know, because at the beginning I thought like, oh, Gravy is just like a normal like board stick deck. It wasn't like super oppressive and aggro, right? But when they put like the all 9 golden tipples and the swirl tidings and everything, so it felt like I need more to block more, and then I need to pressure them nonstop. So that's why I went with the adaptive plating and the one that created cock. And for in my main deck, I did argue with Alan Lau about the heist, because he said he doesn't like heist because of heist, the cost curve, it's very hard to max V. But after that, like for my own testing, I found that because he was running like 3 blue throttle, which is also 2 costs, which is like when you have like a lot of like 2 costs in your deck, it basically super hard to send out max V when you draw two cost attacks. So once I cut the blue trot out, I went into heist because heist is so good in an aggro matchup, and like even no matter what they do, they have to block if you have an item in your banish zone. So that's why I went for heist. And for there's another card which is no time zone. At the beginning, I didn't put it, but once I knew that, like I asked Sington, I was like, "What do you normally like say when you use no time zone against Gravy? Golden Tipple, and then against Prism, Herald of Triumph, and then some matchups like Auxilio, you just say Garner Flash, like they just break the whole turn, which
Mm-hmm.
is super strong. And then there's also one specific play which is when assassins they need to break the chain to codex, right? They'll break the chain. You can respond to it. When I see I have no time zone, when they say they break the chain, I'll say stop, respond, codex, and they're like, oh, okay, Arsenal pass. I did that to Peter Budensik, and he was like, okay, Arsenal pass. But like I still lost the game because Tippy is not an easy matchup at all. I feel like it's a 50-50. Like if the CP player has like a bonds first instead of you setting up all your like damage, pushing damage non-stop. Like either you get fatigue or you get damage fatigue. So
Yeah.
yeah, like my deck is more like the just boost, send max V as much as possible, and then if you have boom grade, just send it.
Do you think that kind of not having that prior knowledge of Dio kind of helped you out with picking cards and everything? Because like at least for me, I feel like sometimes I get caught in a rut with like the cards that I'm playing, just because I've played like over 1,000 games on pretty much the same list, and it's like, do you think that that kind of helps you see it from a different perspective?
Yeah, I think so because the players I asked they played Dash IE last time, so maybe they want like the like for example some cards they feel like it's more value based, but I feel like in Dio it's quite different because everyone builds Dio differently. Like Xincheng, he have like TikTok clock and the balance of justice and stuff like that. So I feel like whenever you build a Dio deck, you can't just straight copy the list. You need to tune it and you need to play yourself to know like, okay, is this suitable for my playstyle? Is it? If it is, yes, okay, it goes in. If not, okay, get out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can really agree on this because we often argue on like sideboard choices and how to sideboard, and
yeah,
I believe even now we still have some like arguments around like how we should play this, and just like I don't like your sideboard. Yeah, I don't like your sideboard either. It's like
yeah,
kind of like that, and when we whenever we try each other's sideboard, we never win a game for some reason,
yeah,
and we just hold our own opinions strong. Like I think this is the correct one. But yeah, just I agree that Dio is a deck that has a lot of personal style in it. That your play style and how you picture your game plan is really different from player to players, and that's why we can see a lot of like the easiest example is like the max B list versus the soup up list, which is more mid-rangey and more high rolly max B list. These are two very different in terms of play styles. And even with the same like the same logic with the soup up list or within the max B list, we still have a lot of like different deck choices, card choices. That means that represents different playing styles. Like, do you want to block more, play more value-y, or do you want to just go more aggro-y, like a all boost no breaks, like a super aggro style? And I think that makes a lot of difference in your sideboarding plan and your card choices.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
For me, there's one thing like it was after Battle Kuala Lumpur. I was thinking for so long, like I was like, do I want to play Dio or not? Like the thing is, in the Battle Hardened tournament on Saturday, like I was like X3, I was like, okay, Dio's okay. When I go to ProQuest Plus, round one I lost to Fatigue Florian. Round two I lost to Fatigue Reiner. Round three I lost to Azalea.
Yeah, he
But
got
I got
trash talked so
like
a
for
lot. He got
fatigue.
fatigued by
Yeah.
Azalea for some
So
reason.
Azalea has like three take covers, three return fires, and three there was a toffee trap. Yeah. I was like,
What?
oh man, should I play Dio now? I was like
Yeah,
messaging them in the group chat. I was like, oh man, I just want to jump now. I don't play Dio. But after that, like when I think back a bit, I feel like I think Dio is still a good matchup into Gravy and Syndra. Like Pro Tour is a different meta compared to like a Battle Hand Pro Quest. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go Dio all in.
yeah.
Yeah,
Look, there's a
yeah.
reason that that Azalea deck was in the O2 bracket. Like three return
Yeah, yeah,
fires, a
yeah,
bunch of trap stuff.
yeah,
Like, what is
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
there?
I was
I
like,
mean,
why
you're
do
really a
this
League
to
of
me?
Legend after the weekend, so that's why you're doing so
Yeah,
well. We also just prep.
yeah.
Yeah,
No more fatigue
no
Azalea.
more
No
fatigue
more.
Azalea for you. Yeah,
Yeah. But like because of that experience, I did trick a sideboard, which is I mainboard 1 pounder in my deck in case something happens. So like for example, if I know it's an aggro matchup, and then suddenly for some reason my opponent's like fatiguing me, okay, I will just spark 4 pounder, pass, and then they'll be like, oh no. So that's like 6 value there on the board.
Yeah, so I was actually wondering about that because I was walking around just like watching the games for both of y'all at different points of the tournament. And I see like pounders on the board for like matchups that I would never have a pounder in. And I'm like, Why, how are you fat stacking this deck? Like whenever you're playing against either Slippy or Gravy, because that's kind of like what everybody wants to know about right now. Slippy, Gravy, Syndra. I feel like Syndra's pretty easy. Like I play
Yeah,
60
Syndra's
versus
easy.
Syndra, but I don't know exactly what y'all do. But like versus Slippy and Gravy, do y'all play the full fat stack just in case? Because they can both pivot to fatigue us, or are y'all playing a more mid-rangey like 64 to 66 cards?
Well, for
Um,
me,
yep.
oh, you want to go first? Okay, I'll go first.
No,
So
you
for
go first.
Syndra, okay. So to be honest, in the calling, I got lucky because I faced against six Syndras, like throughout 13
Whoa! Oh
rounds.
my
Yeah, yeah,
god!
yeah. So like I was like, okay, round one Syndra, round two Syndra, round three Syndra. I was like, interesting. And then a Riptide, and then Syndra. I was like, okay. And then day two, like there was like only one or two Syndras. I still parented them. So I feel like I got lucky on that. So for Syndra matchup, of course it's easy. And then for the gravy, I tested. There was like 5 times I tested on Talishar, which I didn't fat that. I just hench, which is like basically a little bit. I didn't all in my cards, and I got fatigued 5 times because there will be a point that suddenly when you drew like a bad hand or you try to like go all in non-stop but you can't push over it, you'll get fatigued. So I went into like fat deck. So my core is either 60 or 71. So I went in or 71 cards. And it did shock Michael Hamilton because I was fighting him round one in Pro Tour. He was like asking me how many cards you put in. I said that I put 71 and I was like, oh, okay. Like he was like shocked because he knew that I might get fatigued. And the funny story is like that game, I boosted my last card, and like leak 1 damage, and then I just won the game. Like really, like when you fight against Gravy, like because Gravy can like suddenly pivot to fatigue. So I feel like yeah, you need to like go all in, all 71 cards for me. And for the Slippy matchup, I also go all in because it's same as Gravy. Like suddenly they might because they have like all the 3 blocks except Codex is 2 blocks. They'll suddenly just block, and then they have D-reacts. So when you have like fat deck your deck, there is a chance like they will go to fatigue mode, and you need to like try to push the damage over. That's my game plan for these two matchups.
Yeah, for me, I'm not so lucky. In Pro Tour, there's 9 games. I have faced against 4 Slippies for some reason. Yeah, I know it's the first. I know it's the top one pick, but I got 4 Slippies. I never got good gem luck. But somehow I 3-1 it, so I guess that's some topic in the purple Discord. Some people say that okay, this guy got 3-1 against Slippy for some reason. He got some spice or something. Um, I will say that for me, the sideboarding is generally against all classes. I have 3 kind of sideboards. You either go like full 60, and or you go all in. I have one TikTok clock, so it's either 70 or 71, depends on the like if they are playing items or do they create gold or something like that. And there is a middle point, which I like to call it as a surprise fatigue deck, which means usually they want to raise you, but suddenly they can pivot to a fatigue style and try to block you out. Like for example, Dawnblade Dorinthia.
Yeah,
Usually they
Dawnblade
want
Dorinthia,
to raise
Fang
you
as
into
well.
yeah,
Usually like the
and
Thing.
Warriors.
yep, exactly. So, but they have the fridge, and if they suddenly found they are super behind, they can just stop doing everything and just block because they got a weapon that can close the game, and they have a lot of 3 blocks and different reactions. So they can just suddenly, I will just do nothing and start to turtle up and try to fatigue you because I know you have burned through a lot of resources trying to race me. So right now, if I can block and survive, and I'm good. So against this kind of decks, I like to side in some throttles, some no time zone for extra blue pitch, and go for I believe at that time the build will be 65 or 66 cards or something like that. Yeah, to try to
I think
have some
65.
extra feel to fight through the surprise fatigue
Mm.
in that sense.
Yeah.
And Gravy is a little bit. Now I remember. It should be 65 cards. And the Gravy is a little bit different at that time I was testing. I was going for exactly 66 cards, and the reason is a little bit interesting here is that originally my testing plan is I thought that Gravy cannot easily fatigue you, given that they have so much allies, which are non-blocks. and they usually don't run that much of defense reactions. Maybe blood on water, maybe some sort of thing belows, but not much. It's not like Guardian or like Florian style of defense, 9 defense reactions, stuff like that. So I think, okay, maybe if I bring Goliath's Gauntlet plus Achilles, so try to aggro them down and try to connect some boom grenades, I should be good. But after some of my testing, I found that the biggest problem in this matchup is it's not that you lack damage. The problem is Chum.
Yeah.
Because Chum can easily soak up 2 of your attacks. Like if you
Which
try
is 4
to kill the
cards.
Chum to like
4
prevent
cards.
your max V hit on the brick wall, like if you want to connect max V, you have to kill Chum. And which means you have to spend at least 2 cards or like a 4 plus a pistol shot or something on it. And that usually results in if you play 2 3 0 cost boosts on it, that means you are spending 4 cards from your deck to kill it. So that part is when I realized that killing Chum will accelerate my rate to go to fatigue, and that is the problem, and that's why I trying to sign more cards, especially Red Throttle, because Red Throttle is a 1-card kill for Chum. That's really important in this matchup. And I tried to do that. Overall, it went well in my testing. In Pro Tour, I only faced against 1 Gravy, which was at the last round against Bartosz. I will say I kind of got unlucky because at my last 10 cards, there were 2 max V in it. I cannot find it and close the game, so I eventually got fatigued. But I think from now on, what I will change is trying to do the full sideboard for Gravy, trying to have some extra damage to go through. But I still testing it. I'm not really sure about that, but that at least at the Pro Tour period, what I saw is trying to like 66 enough and have the tools to kill Chum should be enough to battle through against Gravy.
Yeah.
And against Slippy, yeah, I just fat deck and slide in all 70 cards. My game plan, I think I have a stream gain against Yuki on YouTube. Unfortunately, I lost that one because of the IP2. Funnily enough, if I don't get the IP2, I will kill Yuki exactly at no cards in deck. It will be exactly so after I just do some review of it. But yeah, it is what it is. My plan is try to kind of like sacrifice 1 or 2 burn grenades to eat up all their equipments.
Yeah.
And then try to force as much breakpoints as possible, and try to connect Vex Vs with grenades and try to put through damage, because against Slippy is a little tricky. You cannot do what you usually against the fatigue deck would do, which is setup, because they have this kind of like a disruption plan that you cannot really just like play Pounder and pass. If they in response play a Bonds with Go again, you're doomed, because you have no idea what's going on, and you cannot really play around that. So I will say it's a hard matchup. You have to apply pressure while setting up, and it requires a lot of luck. And I will admit I'm pretty lucky. At that weekend, I got something like I don't know, average turn 2 max Vs and some like BIOS update with Pounder on top, something like that. I'm just super lucky, and but overall, I think you should always go like a kind of like a full aggro and try to pressure enough. And when you find that there seems like out of gas, that's when the time you can do the setup. And also, no time zone is a really big deal in this kind of setup, because you need to name, for example, like bonds, or you need to name bonds, codex, and stuff like that to help you to
Persuasive
set up. So that,
prognosis.
yep. So that when you try to, for example, try to arsenal something really important like a max V or something, it doesn't get disrupted. And I think this is kind of the defensive usage of it that's I didn't really realize until some testing during the Pro Tour weekend, that I realized that okay, naming bonds or naming leave no witness is a really good idea here. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Also,
love
I
no
feel
time zone. Big no time zone guy. Always
Yeah,
have
no time
been.
zone is
same. It's broken. Like
I
why
think so
create
too.
a item?
yeah, like
It's
Like
3
the
turns.
top
That's the
deck.
thing.
Yeah,
during
yeah.
the 9 games in my Pro Tour weekend, I think hit with no time zone like 8 times during the games,
Nice,
and
yeah.
my opponent is not happy about that. It's like one round I was against Edison Yuer, which is top 4 of the Pro Tours. I was playing Verdance. I'm going first. I see a max V in my hand, and I want to arsenal some sort of zero cost, I believe. And then I think I play a no time zone and just singing a bit. They have nothing in their graveyard. I go first. I say, okay, CNC. And then they just pass. And the next turn they just play a CNC. It was like, you got me. I was like, yeah, I'm really good at this game now. Yeah.
No, definitely. My Pro Tour luck was about like yours on the Slippy front. My first 3 rounds were Slippy, Slippy, Slippy. I mean, I knew the deck was gonna be good, but I was not expecting it to be double the amount of gravies and Syndras. I was like, whenever that came out, I was so surprised. I thought there were gonna be way more gravies than there were gonna be. Like, I was kind of surprised. I knew what the meta was gonna be, Slippy, Gravy, Syndra, but I was really surprised that it was that many Slippies. So did y'all feel the same about that?
Same as me.
Well,
I think I have the same prediction basically as you. Is like Syndra, Gravy, Slippy should be the top 3 decks, and we should have a chance against all the threes. And I suspect Gravy will be the most represented deck. And yeah, I also did not expect Sleepy have that much of a representation in the meta.
yeah, same. I feel like during Battle Hunt in Kuala Lumpur, I was thinking like, okay, Sleepy should have the same amount as Gravy, but I didn't expect like double the amount of Gravy. Same.
Yeah, it's like much more Sleepy than I
Yeah, it's
expected.
it's too much.
Yeah, that was too much. I agree. That was like
Yeah,
kind of insane. So
yeah.
whenever like there are some other card choices that I've been thinking about since the Pro Tour. So like what we were saying earlier is like the problem is Chum with Gravy. But have either of you considered like Underloop or Overloop being able to like go back to the bottom of your deck? Because I like literally you were talking and I was just thinking, I was like, what if I Underloop, play the boots that break like that mill the top 2 to get an action point? You can like Underloop and pistol kill the Chum and still have an action point left, even if you don't have an item on top. And then like that's only 3 cards gone, and also you've only pistoled. So I don't know, just like cards like that or cards like Expedite. Like, what are some other cards that like maybe we could be thinking about going into the new meta?
Mm, for new meta, I think I only play a little few games because not so much as after a big event,
Yeah,
there's a break. But from what I've played around, I would say for now against Gravy, I think Red Throttle is enough. Because it also stands as a multi-purpose card. It's a popper. It's also a
yeah.
popper against Prism, which is pretty good because we are lacking poppers. We don't have max Vs if we don't run Throttle. So that I personally I like sideboard cards to have multi-purpose. That's why I choose to include Tita Clock in this meta, but not back in Worlds of Saka where Dio is much more prominent. But I choose not to play Tita Clock at that time because at that time it was only for the mirror, and I really don't like a card just for a match. But in this meta, Teklo Clock is good against mirror, good against Gravy, good against random gold generating decks like Kasai or something like that. So that's why I choose to put it in. That's my personal opinion on sideboard cards. So I think that cards like Underloop is a little bit too cute for myself. That I don't really like it. Yeah, and as for like a future meta, I think for the Mastery Set Guardian, the biggest problem will probably be Victor with the new block. What's it called? Test of Iron Grip or something?
Yeah, I
When
have
we
no idea.
One
But
that
the
back
one that makes you
discards the head.
discard.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That is much more harder to deal with than any other disruption we have ever seen before. Yeah, because
It blocks 4 and
for
disrupts.
that every
yeah.
sort of disruption is foreseeable for some reason. Like
Well, it's
even
offensive.
it's either offensive or it's foreseeable. Like if they signal pommel, you can sense it. If they signal if they're playing Vincent, they signal a succumb, you can sense it because there is some like indicators that you can find it, but test of iron grip is coming from nowhere. Like you cannot predict it, and it's really hard to fight through that. And that's why I'm reconsidering adding in cards like what's it called? Hanami Blaster. Try to fight against fatigue. Try to have a higher total damage count in a sense, if that makes sense. And for some other cards in like for the current like what I'm trying to do if I'm going to Auckland calling, I yeah the main thing is is just the what they say a Hanami Blaster is try what I'm really considering right now. Yeah.
Well, for me, I've been having Honey Blossom in my deck since the beginning
Same.
because
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that
it's
they
been
might
an
be
hour.
Verdance or Florian. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was testing with Alan. I was saying that okay, Alan, I think Hamabi Blaster is good, like against Florian and against the Verdance, because I was testing against he was playing Verdance. For some reason, whenever I play Symbiosis, when he started so in the beginning he was doing the tempo trade. So if he has like the burn bears and the fellings early in game, like it's quite hard. So I feel like I don't have enough time for the symbiosis, because you need like items like you get a counter easily, but like Honey Buster like confirm 5 damage instead of like finding the action point to shoot 2 pistols. So that's why I bought Honey Blaster, and like
Really
now I
high
think like
octane.
yeah, like same as Xincheng, I'm like thinking Honey Blaster into the victor matchup because of the new card that discards. And there's another problem I feel like, which is the discard, the -1 attack, the target attack -1. What is it called again? The one with that holding the lantern, the blue card block tree, one for
The
three for
new
five.
majestic what's it
Yeah,
called?
Oh,
majestic.
the majestic one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So I think that's gonna be a problem
Fearless
because
confrontation. Yeah.
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 So for example, if they have Chum and then they have like the prevent one ally, and for some reason they have the like discard -1 attack, I don't think Trottles is enough to kill Chum. So for now, I'm thinking, yeah, like the card you say, Overloop, like I'm considering, but I feel like I don't have enough slots for it. But
Yeah.
it still need more testing because I haven't tested much. Like after I came back, I just like jam games for armories. That's all I've been doing.
Yeah, that's the same. I
Uh,
haven't been like straight
yeah,
testing, but I am going to calling KC in a couple weeks, so I do need to start getting back on the testing train.
yeah,
But y'all are gonna go to Auckland, you said?
yeah,
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 but hopefully we can get to the alpha draft, so maybe no CC for us. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's our main goal to trying to join the alpha draft that day
yeah.
too of the calling.
You need to
Yeah.
get the cold foil heart, the cold foil tunic.
Now you are
Yeah,
the real calling winner after
Man,
that.
living at
yeah,
on that side of the world is
yeah.
pretty great. I'm a little jealous. I would love to go to that calling. Oh, that's so good.
It's,
Yeah.
it's still far for us. It's like a 15 hour. Like for me, it's a 15
No,
hour.
10
For
hours. 10 hours.
Sington,
You're
it's 10
going very,
hours.
very,
Because
very
yeah,
good.
yeah. I guess I need to like take a transfer flight at Hong
Oh,
Kong.
wow. I
Oh,
guess
direct
that
Yeah,
is
flight is
really far.
yeah, 10 hours.
yeah.
Oh
It's not that
man.
near at all, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that flight
It
to Singapore, I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie. Like on the way back, I was
Uh
dead for 2 days. I was like
yeah.
just could not move. It took me like a week to wake up at my normal hour. Whew, that was definitely a flight.
Jet lag
Well,
is
that's what we've been doing.
it
Yeah,
really fun.
yeah. It's crazy.
But it was a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, we talked about like what exactly y'all are thinking about for the next meta. I'm a little scared. I don't really think the Guardian Mastery pack is very good, but I think it's gonna have like make people play Guardian again, which I just don't want. Like they really don't need anything to do
Well,
well versus us is the problem.
I think there'll be more
Actually,
gravy players because
Mm,
when Guardians like a lot of players play Guardians, that means like it's more like easy matchup for gravy. So I feel like
yeah.
there'll be gotta be more gravy and maybe like less sleepy or and a little bit less of the aggro matchups. That's what I feel. I don't feel like Guardians gonna be like this high more than gravy. It should be like lower than gravy a bit.
Mm,
I
Yeah.
actually think it's not that bad, apart from what I said, testing fire grip.
yeah.
So, first of all, just as CYK say, there should be more gravies trying to feast on the guardians, and which is good for us because we are kind of like the predators of gravies. So
Yeah.
that that should be good for us if I got a little bit of gem luck. Then they beat all the gravies, we beat all the they beat all the guardians, we beat all the gravies. Then all is good. And when guardians are up, there should be less Slippy, as Zwagi says, because I played Slippy before, and Slippy is miserable against the defensive decks.
Yeah, defense
Yeah.
reactions. It's like,
Because
oh,
Yeah.
they don't even need defense reaction because Slippy don't have breakpoints. They're just 3 and 3.
Yeah.
They're less
Just block 3.
breakpoints. That's the big problem, Slippy. And what I think about the current Guardian is that I don't think Guardian is that hard to manage right now compared to Florian. I think Florian is
yeah.
the better Guardian here, and it's even better at fatiguing people.
Mm.
The problem is that the previous good Guardians for fatigue, like Victor, generate values from the gold so that they can draw one more block. So their test of strength is a 7 value block in that case. But with the deck list evolving, they're adding more and more good cards that can make them lose the clash.
Yeah,
Like
like
visiting
that.
Golden Empty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
that other
card.
new
But
card, that card
it,
loses clashes.
yeah, and the new Fable. It's a good
Mm.
card, but it doesn't win you a
Funny.
clash,
Mhm.
which is good for us because
Yeah.
they have less cards to block. So I don't think that's unmanageable compared to before, I would
Yeah.
say. It actually feels easier to play against as a deal versus in a Guardian now than before.
Mhm. I
And
agree.
for
I think the Victor matchup is like actually pretty winnable, especially if you can win two of the clashes, then I think like you're pretty favored in the matchup. Like once you start like kind of rolling on clashes, then it's like starts feeling really good for you. Especially cuz
yeah,
like I played one in the calling and like I drew really poorly, but like I I felt like had I not just drawn awful the first two turns, then I feel like I actually could have won just because of like they're playing a lot of like the card that gets go again, the 5 attack that gets go again is a 2 block. I
Dispel
forgot what it's
Pain.
called.
Zealous Belting.
Yeah,
Zealous
Zealous
Belting.
Belting. Yeah, like that's a 2 block.
Yeah.
Pummel's a 2 block, which I think he sided
Rouse
out
is a
Pummel
two
versus
block.
me. Rouse is a two
Rouse
block. They actually
block.
run a lot
Yeah.
of 2 blocks. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they don't actually block that well if they don't win clashes. If they win clashes, if you win every clash, like there's not really that many decks that are gonna beat you.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's the
Yeah.
thing is that's just. But that's just like the nature of the card game, you know. It's and at least we know what's on top. So like if they clash, then it's like okay, I'll play my item now and then see if I can get a throttle or something big
Or Max V.
or Max V. Max V's sick.
That's one of my
Yeah.
like back in the days. It's like a year ago. I had a ProQuest Plus. I won against a local Victor. Right about I'm going to get fatigue. They play Trounce. I revealed 2 Max Vs, and then I used the gold to draw the Max V and kill them. That was so.
Oh, that's so sick. Yeah, especially if we get a gold. If they give us a gold, I'm like, oh, free card off of chess piece. Let's go. This is gonna be
Like
so easy.
revealing 2 Max V is like, hey, I win this, and then I can actually play this Max V. I'll draw a card and then play it and kill you. That was so fun.
That's awesome. So like whenever y'all are going through and like building your deck, how exactly are you thinking about like uh all of your blue count and all of your item count? Like are you specifically do you keep an exact like ratio the whole time and you're like, okay, I want 20 blues because that's like the baseline of what I can do, or I want like 15 crank items or something like that. How exactly are you like thinking about your ratios as you're going through and preparing and building your deck?
So, do you want to go this first? Because I think you're as a newer Dash style player, you
Yeah.
can have
Yeah.
better
So I've been seeing like different deck lists, and I feel like 16 blues is the best count. And I try to like keep it 16 blues as much as possible because I have 3 yellow zipper hits and 0 for 60, and we have the spark, of course, and also the boom grenades, yellow. So the 12 yellows like will cover up like the lack of like the blues, and plus like the zipper hit is a break point, so it's good, and like 0 for 60 is because it's 0 cost and you can send max V. And the other two I don't explain. Spark is like the codex and the boom grenade. At the beginning, I did have one. Yeah, Spark is like the OG codex. That's what we say it here. Yeah, the
Okay, yeah,
OG
it kind of
codex.
is.
You
draw
get
a
an
card,
item,
you
you
get a
draw a card.
card, you get a card eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You draw two
yeah, yeah,
cards, and
yeah,
one of the cards is the exact card you want. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. So I feel like for me at the beginning I did try the blue boom grenade, but later on I just like remove it out because I feel like there's more battles like cards I can put in because I want to like make my cards like all 3/3 instead of like maybe 2 or 1 for the ratios. And for the item ratio, I think for me I feel like following the normal ratio, which is like 3 red, 3 yellow boom grenades, and you have like the backup protocol, you got the cerebellum and core. I think around that amount it's enough, and plus I'm putting in like the Teklo pounder, which like eats up the blue boom grenade slot. So it's around the same ratio. I try to keep it as same, not changing a lot. And for like the sideboard, so basically I did run the convection amplifier, and also I have 2 no time zone and also a pounder. So like the ratio is around there. I try to like
Wait,
keep
one
it the same
pounder?
most of the time. No,
So
2 pounders on
main, one
sideboard,
inside.
1 in main board. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
3 pounders, 3 pounders. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I feel like I try to keep as that much like the same ratio, and then also I try to put all the good zero cost cards in. Like
Yeah.
you got expedite, you got like everything. So I just like put all in because I feel like, well, my game plan for this deck now is I want to try to set max V like as
Mhm.
easy as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, the reason I ask CYK to go first is that I don't really have a good thoughts in mind as of like experienced mech player. What I started building a deck is just first of all adding in the essentials like okay, adding in the cores, adding in the sparks, adding in the grenades, and then from that point I started to tweak a little bit about the ratios and the numbers of it. Items wise, I don't really think I have made some like big innovations or big changes in the ratio. I go as more of like go with the vibes. If you understand what I'm saying, it's like okay, here's our 60 cards, and there should be how many items I'm running. Like you can see how familiar I am that I don't even know how many items I'm running in my land deck. Okay, whatever. So, uh, but when I'm trying to side in cards, so when I'm trying to prepare my, as I say, my surprise fatigue sideboard and the full sideboard, I try to go through like, okay, I'm bringing in the throttles, so that means I need more blues. And what are the blues that I'm willing to play when I draw them? No time zone is better than Teklo Pounder in this case because I lose less tempo than that. So that's what I'm as my thought process when I'm trying to bring these kind of stuff in it. And for example, like if I'm bringing all the Teklo Pounders, I want to be bringing my BIOS updates because okay, uh, trying to play Teklo Pounder is a really tempo losing play that I seldomly want to do that. What I want is trying to cheat it with BIOS update in, so that's why they are always in together. So what I'm trying to build and sideboarding is more of like this kind of like a group mind. Like these two cards should be a group and they should always be in together and be out together. And as for blue ratios, I don't really have any thoughts on it. It's more of like what blues I want to play instead of how many blues I want to play. Because I think uh generally how we build a deck is we try to just like CYK say we try to make max be as smooth as possible. That means that most of our cards are zero cost, and there are some fail safes. There are some exceptions like max V and heist, but that is our goal. So we should be able to play them with the help of a single blue in our hand. So if drawing 4 cards with 1 blue in hand by not so accurate simple math, that should be at least 15 blues. So that
Yeah.
is what I start from. And also we got the best resource generating card in the game, Teklo Core, which is a 4 resource for some reason. Yeah, and I think that card single handedly helps a lot of games, which is why when if I go first, I draw a sparking hand. That is what I usually tutor
Mhm.
for, even though I have all zero cost in my hand, because it's a really good card to help you to feel through. Like if you accidentally suddenly find an item on top or something, it will not disrupt your current game plan you're trying to go on. And I think that's my current plan for it. Yeah, it's more like tweaking, like, do I want the blue zipper hit or blue outpace, something like that, the decision more than
Yeah.
do I want more blues than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of insane to me that you don't know how many items you're running. Because like, so are you not like, if it's
I
like,
don't have
you
a real
know,
count of it. It's more like I know I have backup protocols. I know I have grenades,
yeah.
but I never do a counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like honestly, most of the games that I play, at one point they have 20-ish life, and I have like 30 cards left in deck, or like 28 cards left in deck, or something. At that point, I'm like, okay, I need to max V this turn, or I need to play an item off the top this turn. So I just sit there, I count my deck, and then see how many items I've played, and I do like all of the math in my head for, okay, I have a 33% chance of hitting an item off the top in the next 3 cards, or something like that. Are you not doing this?
I would say like I know what is left, or like what item
Okay.
is left in my deck, and then I would try to for me, it's rather than I have a this kind of percentage to dig of item more than I really need to find an item this turn. If I really need, like for example, if you go watch my stream game against Yuki, I have a very aggressive play to try to activate heart and then activate my gear shift just to try to find a zero cost to, because I know at that point they are at 37 or something. They're a rather high life point, and I did not do any affected damage to them, and I need to connect this max V to kind of like turn the side around, or else I will get fatigued no matter what. So that's why I'm choose the really aggressive life. Like the extra action point for me is actually just for the pistol shot for 2 damage. So it doesn't really have the highest value, but I need to find that zero cost to connect with this max V to try to have the Brute Grenade proc the max V. I believe it's 13 or 14 damage for that. To try to lower down the life total so that they will feel the pressure that I need to continue blocking, so I can apply pressure continuing.
Yeah.
So for me, if I try to dig an item, it's really similar to like that kind of decision point, is that do I really need that item for this turn? And what is the reason for it? Okay, if I do need it, then I'll act on my heart. I'll try to boost them and try to find them. And if it's just a normal turn, it's like, okay, I'm at a lead or something like that. I'm just normally leaking damage, 1 or 2 here, sending breakpoints. And whether I find the item or not is okay, then I don't really force myself to trying to find the item. So I don't really calculate the possibilities, but I have a general idea like, do I need this in this turn for my game plan? Yeah.
CYK, are you ever doing the calculations?
Uh, for me, like there are games that I didn't play Spark before, and I fat deck my deck. So basically, sometimes I would pitch deck the item back, and then I will boost, and then I'll wait the correct timing to hard just to crank the item to do it. That's what I've been doing. Like sometimes, but it's in like when I didn't draw my sparks or can't see my spark of genius, or like my hand is bad to the point that like I need to put back the good cards, the items, to go back up and instead of using it sometimes. Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
another thing
Especially
I will wait
especially
for
the dominate item. I feel like when I have the dominate item, most of the time I would just like just put it on field as quickly as possible, because you won't have enough time, because when you have your heist, that's when like the CP players will get like nervous because they have to like either D-react and one equipment, or maybe double D-react, or basically they have to give me 1 card and 2 equipment slots, unless they're running the BOJ Balance of Justice, the 2 block. Yeah, but Pounder and the dominant item with heist is so good to the point that they have to respect it. They have to like either block it out or just take it.
And are you playing Goliath Gauntlet as well, or Bracers? Either one.
Uh, sorry, you mean against which matchup, CP?
Just like whenever you are fat stacking, like are you also, because anytime I have that
So
item, I try to play the Bracers or Goliath.
Okay. Well, I'm running Goliath, but against Slippy, I'm running the aggro equipment because Slippy is an aggro matchup for me.
Yeah.
So like basically, you can block 9, COP, heart, the cog, and an adaptive. That's basically 9, which is the number for bonds, which is just a Nick with 2 reactions and the bonds with the plus
Advanced.
3. Yeah. So it's like sometimes I'll just throw equipment and then they'll just like stuck with the reaction in hand. They can't do anything. They just pass the turn. So for Goliath Gauntlet and I'm running the AV boots, Achilles, right?
Achilles.
Forgot the name.
Achilles.
Yeah, Achilles. Yeah, Achilles. So for this combo setup, I only run against Florin and Verdance, but because I was testing against O, but if I know that the player knows what they're doing, I wouldn't put Goliath because when they know how to tempo you, that means you need blocking equipment, so you need to tempo them back instead of like using your hand to block. Yeah, that's for me. Like I barely use Goliath a lot, but like if I know it's a fatigue matchup, I'll put it in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the same way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do have a question for you, Xincheng. Um, I want you to sell me on TikTok clock. I do not understand what this item is. I like it seems okay. It does like what 4 or 6 damage or something. I don't know.
Um, Basically, it kills gold.
Hmm.
And killing gold is really devastating for Gravy because most of the time, if they Gravy usually don't bring Chrono Dominion against you, which means they need some sort of a gold generation to get their first gold to make their engine going, like either golden tipple or stuff like that. And they need their gold to filter their hand so that they don't have non-blocks in hand. So killing the gold is really important here to kind of like blow up their blow up their what they were trying to do, like maybe do some really crazy like drawing and then high tie shenanigans, or you force them to kind of like activate as a exit button, try to squeeze out some value from the gold, and then make some suboptimal plays. And also another reason is that I'm also playing Balance of Justice, which means they are avoiding from drawing 2 cards in a single turn, and that will result in they trying to activate Gravy at my turn and then play something like a Tipple at their turn. And if that's the case, uh, TikTok Clock will have more pressure single-handedly on the board because now they are either forced to block or forced to activate it to try to uh prevent TikTok clock from going off. And also, in some matchup, like for example in the mirror or in like some random like Kasai or something like that, I'm playing adaptive plating. So the self-destruct 1 damage thing doesn't really happen because when it's trying to go you off, I just send in a plating and then block 3, and that's good. And another little trick is, I believe you already know that, is that it has a nice interaction with the boom grenade that when the boom grenade connects, you can actually destroy the grenade and the grenade still does the damage, and you got the nice 1 extra damage from the TikTok clock. So that
Wait,
it's
what?
just some little
How
nice
does this work?
buff. Oh, so if you get the boom grenade and the TikTok clock on the field and your attack hits, 2 triggers go on the stack. Boom grenade triggers say destroy yourself and deal 4 damage. TikTok clock goes on the stack, says destroy 2 item and deal damage equals to the items destroyed this way. So you can order this kind of a trigger so that TikTok clock resolve first, and you choose to destroy the boom grenade. And so you deal, like for example, you destroy 1 boom grenade, and so you deal 2 damage out of the TikTok clock, itself and the grenade. And then when the boom grenade tries to resolve, it will deal the layer will try to do as much as it can. So it will destroy itself, which is not possible, and deal 4 damage. That is still possible. So it still deal the 4 damage to the opponent.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's a nice little interaction there.
Yeah, so it's just like 1 extra damage on your boom grenade.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more of like a tech card that I expect there will be a lot of gravy, so it'll be a good card there. If I'm going to a tournament tomorrow, I might not bring in TikTok clock because from my preparing for a deck, I always prepare for in two kind of mind two kind of set mind in my head. either this is an open meta list or it's a closed meta list. Open meta list is something like when you're going to a beta harden or going to a calling, that everyone plays different decks and the meta is wide open. And closed meta list is like going to Worlds, going to a Pro Tour, that you expect everybody has prepared and have a rough idea of how the meta share will look like. So everybody should be more condensed on the hero selection, and you can tech against certain decks so that your deck can beat those decks. So in this case, I'm trying to tech against Gravy. That's why I put in the TikTok clock.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if I'm going to calling tomorrow, I might not put it in because it's a much more wider meta, and I don't think I can face that many gravies that that TikTok clock will work. But it's a pro tour, so the situation is kind of different here.
Yeah, talking about like potentially going to a calling tomorrow or whatever, what does the future of Dio look like at this point? Are we looking at maybe some more? I was talking to Javi, he's one of the French who's with the Arthur Trehay and Anki team, and he was showing me this list, and it's like it's the COG.io list, and he's like, it's so good, like you have to try this out, like it's so good. Does the future of Dash.io look like more cog based things with Palantirs, or does it look like that more mid rangey setup with the soup ups, or are we just like, do you just prefer doing the max V thing? What do we think exactly is going to be going on? CYK, you can hit me up with this one.
Well, for me, because I just got in deal like in just few weeks, so I feel like I'm gonna stick to Max V because like the cog part, like Alan did try to make it work, but it feels like something's always a bit off, and I feel like it's good. Like when you have like you play the cog in the machine, you get like 2 action points, right? You get 2 counters, and you can tap and bot deck. It's good, but like sometimes that non-attack action like will cost me the game because when you break, because you're a max V deck, so when you break, like it's kind of hard to send out. But like when you say that you put with what's it called again? The one that destroyed the items, the
Yeah,
cards.
Palantir. Yeah, it's not a max
Palantir.
V deck at all. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Palantirs
So
and
it's Palantir. Yeah.
Dovetails.
So I feel like they need more like good cards because there's only like it's from a new set high seas. So they need more like cards, for example, like maybe some boost card that on hit creates a cog something, like something like that, I guess. So if they have something new cards like that, of course I'll try to play the cog version. But for now I'll stick with the basic, just like boost max V.
On hit make
Yeah.
boost, on hit make a cog is broken. That would be so
Yeah, it is
good.
broken. It's super broken. It's just me. I'm just like thinking random stuff, but like, yeah,
That
it's
would be
super broken. I
so
don't think
good.
they'll come out. Yeah,
LSS,
yeah,
please. That what if it's a 0 for 4
yeah.
boost on hit make a cog?
Nah, 0 is too much. 0 is enough. 0 is enough
For a
already.
Super Slam expansion slot.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
amazing. We just need like
Okay, my
one more
prediction.
0 for 4. One more 0 for 4. Please, LSS. I'm begging. Or high octane back, That would
Yeah,
be nice too.
and that will also work.
Yeah, yeah. High Octane is too strong, man. I regret I didn't play Dio at Worlds. I don't know why.
I
I was
know,
playing like
same.
Aurora.
I played
I
Enigma.
should have been playing. Oh,
It
Enigma's
was a
good.
last minute switch, I believe, because you got beaten by me so hard.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, I have tried the cog list. I have built myself, and funnily enough, my thoughts on the current cog list is actually consistency issue. Rather that, like, I know it's really weird to talk about like compared to Max V, which is already inconsistent enough. But the problem with cog list is, compared to a Max V list, is like when you break on a Max V list, at least most of the time you can do something that can progress the game. Like you can still play some small attacks, or you can set up some items that help your uh future turns, or that can generate instant value. Like for example, Teklo core is a item that you can see the instant value of it. Like, it's gonna give me 4 resources in the following turn. Or I play a Teklo pounder. I know it will give me 6 damage in the following turn, in the future turns. But as for like the cog list, when you brick, you really brick, and you really brick hard. Like, let's say I draw 3 copper cards for some reason. Okay, I can play them all out, and I can hope to draw some cog synergy cards. Okay, now I did not draw my what's it called, the 145. It's the Dovetail.
Dovetail.
I did not draw a Dovetail or a Planeer. So okay, maybe I can use one of my cogs to give one of my attacks go again, and that's it. So which means 2 of my items are wasted. So that means that for the setup turns, it's more inconsistent compared to the max V list. At least that's what I'm sort of thinking now. From my personal testing, I have a lot of times of games is that I have a ton of cogs on the field. I can do nothing with them, and that
Yeah.
feels really bad. It's like I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like we
and
have like so many cop cards. Like okay, you just like play 4 cop cards. Like you just pass the next turn. Basically, you just like IP yourself in the same way. Like you get 3 counters like on Symbios, 4 counters on Symbios, but you can't do anything with the cards. It's just put there for 1 counter. Basically, it's 1 value. So
yeah,
it's super bad. Yeah.
yeah, and compared to Puffin, where like maybe else has intended the cogs synergies to be, um, some cards in the cog list have this kind of like inherent on hit or threats because of Puffin's ability, which is not present in the deal list. Like for example, often we'll say that the cog reaction stuff, give it +1, is good for boom grenade, but that means that you have to have a boom grenade on the field to make this work. But so you need 2 or 3 cards to make this kind of synergy works. But compared to Puffin, like for example, one of the strongest card synergy cards that is not Plenier or not Dovetail is Kagura's Zeppelin. So why Zeppelin is strong is that upon you create a cog, you can crank it as Puffin, and often that will make you draw a card. So
Yeah.
2 for 6 on hit draw a card that can potentially be a 2 for 8 is really threatening. Whereas
Yeah.
2 for 6 that can potentially be a 2 for 8 that makes a cog, maybe a grenade will connect, is not that scary compared to
Yeah.
the Puffin list. So I think that's the problem here, is that you need more synergistic, like you need more cards to work together to make the deck good.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I am not a huge fan of the Copper Cog list, but I definitely will do some testing with it just because
I
Javi he was
I
so
do believe
excited
it's
about it.
fun
So
and have a potential, but maybe I'm just not good enough to find the correct formula for it. But at least that's my current thought about the potential flaws it could have. Yeah,
also, like we were saying earlier, like Dash.io is so personal. Like it really depends on like how you want to play the game. There are
yeah,
just so many things like the balance of justice, or maybe underloop, or maybe just like random cards that like you look at somebody's deck list and you're like, what are you doing? And then it's like, oh, I like win all my armories or I win my pro quests and stuff like doing this. It's like, all right, well, it works for you, I guess. Like, and that
yeah,
might just be one of those times with the copper cogs that it's just that's how they want to play the game, and it works somehow.
yeah. It's like people will ask me, why are you still playing BIOS Update? Because I can always find Pounder on top, so I play it. So
Yeah, well, if I could
no
always
issue, I
find
guess.
powder on top, then yeah,
Yeah, no
definitely.
issue, I guess.
That one's out for me. That one does not boost.
Yeah.
All right, I've got one last question for y'all. I just want to know what exactly was one thing that you learned at your time in Singapore, maybe during the pro tour, maybe during the calling, or maybe just like outside the game, like you were talking to somebody. Like, what's one thing that you learned that you took back from that trip?
Well, for me, there was an interaction in the calling. So basically, like I was just confirming with the judge because I never have this thing in Tiresha before, which is when I boost a card, which is Fast and Furious. So basically, there should be a window when you look at top of the deck, right? So at that time, I was thinking, okay, if I can look at top of the deck, then that means I can call item out, and then I can put the fast and crank it and put the Fast and Furious the effect counter on it. So I was just confirming with Judge because I know that you can look at top of deck when you boost, and then there's a window for the Fast and Furious. And at the beginning, like the judges say, "Oh, you can't." I was like, "Wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, then why can't I see the top of my deck after I boost?" So I went ahead and like appeal and called head judge. He say, "Sorry about it, but yes, you can do it," which won me to a game. I think I was fighting against Alexander Vor. He was on Riptide. So I did a sick turd, which I've like I was thinking for 4, and then I was in Fast and Furious. I was thinking like putting the counter on the backup protocol, but then after that I saw a boom grenade. I was like, wait, okay, I'm gonna call the boom grenade down, crank it, put a counter back. Okay, now you have to respect all my 0-4s, 1-4-5, 0-4. And I still have like the backup protocol to trend him. So basically, like I got one turn of tempo, then I just send Max V next turn, I won the game. I feel like that's quite important. Like that one, like extra counter on grenade. If he blocks out this turn, like he still have to face it next turn instead of like facing it this turn.
Yeah, that's definitely a very important thing that doesn't
Yeah.
show up on Talishar. That's like actually one of the few things that doesn't show up on
I think
Talishar.
it
Yeah, it shows on
recently got
Talishar.
Oh, it
implemented,
does?
Yeah.
within a
So
month or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, like when I boost Fast and Furious, like there is a window which Fast and
Yeah.
Furious
Yeah, yeah.
comes
Fast
out
and
to
Furious
check
is
if
a
the items.
trigger that you can
Trigger
respond
on the
to.
stack, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the most important part for me in Singapore.
Yeah, that's definitely something that a lot that's a little bit there's a lot of things in Dio that like people don't really understand and it's like, well, that
Yeah,
was
that's like
like
Yeah.
yeah.
when you try to do some flashy stuff, you always got your opponent asking like, "Can you do that?" It's like you can ask your
Judge.
judge for that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Like there was one play like when I called the item out against a Syndra player, like I say hold priority before it cranks, I can look at top deck to think about it, right? They're like, wait, no, you can't. I'm like, well, you wanna call a judge? I've been doing this since round one.
Yep.
So
No,
yeah,
I
about
had the
that
same
too.
judge
Yeah.
call, yep.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, spark a no time zone, draw a card, and a naming trigger on the stack, and then I was like,
Yeah,
"Do you have
that
to
one.
name
That one
it
too.
before draw, after draw?" It's like, okay, let's call a judge for something like that.
Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
a lot of like
Yeah.
tricky stuff.
Oh, and
Um,
also there's another one for me. Sorry about it.
yeah,
Which
go ahead.
is like it was during the Pro Tour against Michael Hampton. So when I top decked the boom grenade, so basically he has a chum on the field. So he was thinking if he can respond to boom grenade if I choose to crank it or not.
Mm.
So the funny thing is like he can't respond to me when I crank because it was instant, but he can respond to the pistol like when I put a counter on the symbiosis. So technically, like when it comes down, you can think about it if you want to crank, and then only then, like into the pistol when you put on count, he can respond to it if he wants to like do the chum or not.
Does pistol
Yeah.
putting a counter
Yep,
on the
it's
pistol put a
almost
trigger on the stack?
Yep, it's a
Yeah.
trigger.
Yep.
And also it's a May
He can't
ability,
respond
so
to the
if you
crank.
forgot
Yeah,
to
it's
put
a May.
it, it's it. Yeah, it's like Tunic.
Yep,
Like you
it's
forgot
true.
to put it
Yeah,
in,
it's a tunic.
it's
Yeah.
fine.
That was like the most hard one because the judges have to like confirm it back and forth about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That's another like playing Teklo
Yeah.
core versus Gravy sucks because it's like, all right, start a turn, start of action phase.
Action
Yeah.
phase.
Please don't
Yeah.
respond to
Yeah.
action phase. Yeah, that's
The
the worst part
response.
about Teklo
Yeah.
core. I hate that so like you can't play that card versus Kano because you just die.
Yeah, it seemed like when Briar has like the Earth token in of Earth against Icelander, which he can
Oh,
Icelander can respond back. Yeah.
stop the
That
PTSD.
one.
I hate that so
Yeah,
much.
oh my god, like I don't know how many times I got channel like because of that embodiment of Earth. Ah, man.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Oh, I hate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have two things that I would like to talk about. One is more about gameplay wise, one is more about preparing for this event. So gameplay wise, there's actually two things. One is I learned more a lot about like what to name with bonds. What to name with no time zone, sorry. I want to name bonds. That's what I'm trying to talk about. So um usually when I was thinking about bonds, I was thinking about like there were like two styles of naming, like either name their key card to break their turn, like for example naming Golden Tippos, or naming Gonio Flesh against Auxilio to break their turn, or trying to name something like some defense reaction, try to be really aggressive about my turn so that they cannot defend, like for example naming Sink Billows, something like that. But what I've learned is that naming defensively, like for example, naming Failing of a Crown, naming CNC, naming Leave No Witness, naming Bonds, is really good when you're trying to do some setups. And I think that is something that I haven't thought of before, because for a one for setting up, this is more of like a one-time use of it, because you don't really need this restriction after the turn you set up. So this didn't come into my mind before I do the preparation and start playing it, but the more I play it, I found it the more useful as a one-time tool to stop them from playing their uh disruption is pretty useful. I have this practice game against a Slippy. They purposely take the grenade damage and keep one card in hand. And then it was the end of my turn. I'm trying to spark something out and try to arsenal whatever I draw. And then when I was thinking, I checked the graveyard. They have 2 Leave No Witnesses in the graveyard, but I still decided to find. No Time Zone naming Leave No Witnesses because I know from the last turn their arsenal is a sync below, so there should be no CNC at all. So I just play No Time Zone name Leave No Witnesses and draw a card in arsenal and pass, and they just pass, and which works. That grants me another max V turn. So I think how to name No Time Zone defensively is something I learned a lot during the weekend. And also another thing is I think I got more experience on when to boost away an item.
Yeah.
Because I think a instinct as a deal player is you see your first item on top, you play it, and think, oh, okay, I got my value from my hero ability. But sometimes that is not the best play. There are 2 reasons for that. First of all, is heist. You want your heist to have some actual threat and generate some value. So sometimes you actually want some items in it. And the other one is sometimes you need to dig for a better item. Like a really easy example is you found a Teklo core on top. You could play it, but sometimes you shouldn't because you need an extra point for a crank item. You need that extra action point to draw a card from the processor to have an extra pistol shot or something. So you need to make a decision on point like, do I really need this item for the following turn? Do I just play it because I'm a deal player and I see the item, I'm really happy I can play it.
Monkey
So
brain activated.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I should have to activate it or else I am losing some point of value up there. I think this is something that I got more experience now that I have more like I can identify more on whether I should play this item. And I think this is some really, really good knowledge to practice on. I don't have a really good rule sum of how to do that, but it's more of an experience thing. But I think I learned a lot during this weekend of the event. Okay, and speaking of what about preparing the event, I will say that this sounds weird, but don't play too much games. This is I don't know. I just Google it, but there is a term in the statistics called overfitting. Is that if you play against certain decks and you practice a lot of it, sometimes your vision got narrowed, and you were just trying to like uh overly trying to adapt your deck, trying to beat that deck, and sometimes that will lose that will actually make your deck worse. I have a personal experience back in Worlds Osaka. I was still playing Deal at the time, and one of my practice member is playing CYB New, and I think you might know it. It's basically an unwinnable matchup with the 9 CYBs.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job. It's
It's a
crazy.
horrible matchup, and
Yeah.
because I'm keep practicing against them, so what results in is I'm trying to find a lot of weird text, trying to beat CYB New. Like I'm trying to put in command and conquers, trying to like do some like amplifier dominate CNC, some sort of weird tech against them. And in the end, I can have a reasonable win rate against Webby New, but I sacrifice basically all other matchups, and that's not good for a big tournament setup. And turns out not all people are on Webby New, so that is not a really good. That's not a really good strat to try on. So I will say that do some preparation, but don't tunnel vision into a certain deck to try to like beat. I need to beat this deck so that my deck can work. And this is something ironically because I'm really busy at work before the 2 weeks, so I don't really have time to practice, and for some reason I do way better than every other event I have been. So this is something I learned pretty new, and I found it really interesting here. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like back whenever I was in university. It was like any time that I like stayed up all night the night before to study for the
Yeah,
test,
exactly.
I always
No,
did
yeah.
terrible. But whenever I just like, studied a couple times like throughout the week and then like
I get a feel of it,
got
get the
some good
general
sessions
picture,
in,
what it's
yeah.
like.
Like key
And then I just
points,
like let it
everything.
go, then I always
Yeah,
did
yeah,
well.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
Luckily, that's what I did. Like during Battle in Kuala Lumpur, like I got fatigued by Azalea, so basically I was like tunneling, like what he said. I was like, what should I do? I was like, okay, I'm just gonna lock Dio, put this deck in my bag. Okay, forget about it. So I just like went on holiday and played some drafts, and then, okay, when I bring back out, I was like, okay, now I'm ready. Like I'm prepared.
Yeah. And to your first point as well there, like learning about kind of I feel like Dio and Gravy are both like the decks that most revolve around their actual macro strategy. Like I feel like you play a warrior, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get my 13 value this hand, and that's what I'm gonna do every single hand, and it doesn't matter what cards I draw. But like whenever you're playing Dio, it's like, okay, you see this item on top, you don't really know if you want to play this one or like if this one doesn't really make sense right now, so you're not going to play this one, you boost it away. And then next turn, or like next card is at max speed, you're like, huh, I have 2 0 cost, or like, I'm not going to be able to play this max speed this turn, but they are at 25. I'm going to IP one if I don't play this, if I don't play this max speed and I draw it, but I think I win the game, or at least I strip their hand next turn if I just IP one right here. And there's been like multiple games where I've IP one, IP two, especially versus fatigue. Like I've given myself an IP many times just to draw a max V, or just to draw a spark or something like that. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's kind of interesting, like how much of like the macro strategy you have to be thinking about all the time. You always have to know how many cards are left in your deck, how many D reacts they have left, how much like health they have left, because your health is not your health. Like your 36 HP doesn't really matter that much in most matchups. It's most of the time comes down to how many cards do you have left in deck, and can you pressure them with max Vs.
Yep.
Exactly.
Um,
I will
Yeah.
say that that's a really I play too much game to learn that. Like when you're nearing fatigue, you're like one card short to play the max V or something like that. Yeah, and I think there's no other decks in right now that better describes small turn big turns, small turns big turn cycle as a deck like Dio. As you mentioned, you either you want actively wants to IP yourself to set up for a bigger turn next turn, and I think that best describes what the small turn big turn
Yeah.
looks like in this game. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you see item top deck, like sometimes okay, you have to do it because it might be super good. But for example, a play I did was I saw a red grenade. I was like, okay, my hand's like attack for fours or like breakpoints. Okay, I call it out. Like when you can respond to crank look attack. I saw max V. I was like thinking for a while. I was like, okay, I can crank a boom grenade and then play my breakpoint cards but not boosting because I have 2 action points. So I can also send damage and set up for next turns. Like these micro plays like affects your game plan a lot. Like
yeah.
really a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And then definitely one thing that I learned like over the weekend, especially I played Simon Nielsen round 3 or 4 of the Pro Tour, and he was on Gravy, and also Ian Zhang. Like I kind of implemented this in the calling against Ian. Um, is against Gravy, like at first I was like, okay, screw it, not killing the allies. I'm just running face. We're just going face all day long. And like of course you have to kill Chum, but other than that, I was like, oh, they play Sawbones, don't care. They play two Sawbones, still don't care. Let's go. We're just gonna go face. But like, and they even played Oisin versus me, and I was like, Oisin seems really bad. Like it either like it doesn't do anything basically, but it does. Like at the end of the game against Simon, the Oisin ended up doing 12 damage to me. Like I was like, oh, maybe against Gravy you do have to kind of put the free pistol shot at the end towards the allies instead of just going face. But
Yeah.
that was definitely one lesson that I learned against Simon and Ian, both of them.
Yeah, I'll say this is the hard part of Dio. There's like there's no rules of thumb. It's always it depends. It's like
Oh
should I
yeah,
kill it? It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends.
It's
Yeah.
like maybe in some situation you should kill it, but maybe in some situation you just go face and ignore it. It's just all really situational, and there's no rules of thumb
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. But for me, I would kill the Sawbones first because sometimes you need that breakpoint to leak the damage.
yeah,
Or recently I've been doing like it was doing a pro tour. I learned that like basically sometimes like your pistol shot in sorry. when you pistol shot into Sawbones, basically they can tap to prevent one, right? So what I've been doing was I just send the pistol to Sawbones, and then they would have to tap it, but next turn they can't attack with it. So basically that ally is like down there, and then you just earn like less
You're
6
denying
damage
6
against you.
damage from them.
Yeah, deny 6 damage. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was doing at the end there too. Is like I know that it's not going to kill the Sawbones, but you can't attack me with it either. So
yeah,
yeah.
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 All right.
That's also
And
Well,
then they have to IP themselves because they have one card in hand, and
yeah,
they can't
yeah.
do it the Sawbones thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Screw their allies.
yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all for coming on. I know that time zones are a little weird for both of us, but you know, it's I really appreciate y'all coming and talking to me for a while. Is there anything that y'all like? Do y'all if y'all make any content? If y'all like have Twitter or something? If y'all would like to you know give any shout outs or anything? Maybe shout out your team or whatever.
I don't think we have a team in Taiwan.
Yeah, I don't
Weirdly
really have a
enough, we
team.
just have some
Yeah,
really like competitive players that like to get around. So maybe
yeah.
shout out to some of the best players in our community. Pei Tong Liao, OO, CYK. Yeah, CYK is a good player, and Ming Han Lee. Yeah, just
And
some of
also
the best
yourself.
players in our region. And I don't make contents, but I do have some murmurings on Twitter or on X, whatever. I'm go by the handle is DHMN_magic. Yeah, you can see I was a magic player. And you can find me there. I will have some random rumbling about games and something like that. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Well, same. Like, I don't think Tao has a team, but like, I have like a lot of friends with different like different countries. So I have to shout out to Alan Lau because like we're both testing. Like, he was testing for his Nats, I was prepping for Pro Tour, and we exchanged a lot of like info. Even though like most of the time he was just talk shit in the group chat, I was like, okay, fine, sure, why not? And also shout out to Xincheng because like sometimes like I don't know the certain matchup sideboard. I have to ask for him, even though like I don't like the sideboard. Like at least I got some extra info out of it. And yeah, so for my Twitter X, it's CYKLionel, or anywhere you can see me on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. Also, yeah, it's just
Well,
CYKLionel. Yep.
awesome. I appreciate y'all very much. We'll have both of their deck lists down in the description below that they played at the Pro Tour /Calling. And yeah, shout out to y'all. I appreciate it. And if you've got this far, you know, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and we'll be back for some more Teklo's workshop next time.
Yes. Subscribe. Remember to subscribe.
Yeah, that's great.